Hey there, welcome back, garden friends. Hope you're doing great. I have a special announcement coming up, but I really can't share it just yet. But just know that there's some great things in the works, and I'm really excited to share it with you all when I can. And I'm just so stoked on it. Now today I got a quick video. Oh, look at that! You can see that some bugs going on there in this lily. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a little bit about how to listen to your plants and how to, never give up on them. So as I've been complaining lately, I've been pretty busy with the baby, newborn baby, a little, what should we call him? Little Thor, and been really busy. And so I've been neglecting some of my plants. But then as I came out in my garden yesterday, I noticed I was doing some work and noticed some plants. These lilies were a little bit stressed, and I want to show you. So that way maybe you can notice the stress at home, not just on the lilies, but maybe on some other plants, and then you can get to them before it's too late. So right now I can tell that these plants were going just underwatered, right? They were super dry. They had a few weeds out here that they were battling as well that I've removed, but they were really, really dry. You can see this one right here. See how its leaves are all kind of pointing downwards, and I actually just dealt with them. So they were actually, I should have filmed earlier. I'm kind of a goof that way. I waited too long. But they were looking even more stressed about an hour ago because they hadn't had their water yet, and I hadn't done all the magic to them just quite yet. And you can see the one right next to that one. It's in the shade, but you can see half of the leaves on the bottom are just shredded. They're just totally dried out and shriveled up, and the plant, to survive, has had to suck the life and water right out of those bottom leaves to support the blooming blossoms there. And you see the blossoms are actually faded in color. They're a little stunted in size. I know this because I've been growing these ones for quite some time. They actually I planted them here relatively recently. I was actually growing them in the backyard in a wine barrel, and they were doing beautifully these last few years. But the problem is I had a wooden deck there that was rotting out and wasn't doing too well, and so it was absolutely time I had to move them. The pot was done, and so I pulled them out, and I've spread them in a couple different locations in my home, and these were the ones that were left over, and so I had to put them in here basically late spring. That the bulbs were already sprouting. If you're familiar with lilies, it's a bulb plant where it has a little storage unit right under that you kind of gets bigger from year to year to year, and they'll kind of create more of them actually as they get more mature. But that bulb is what's planted, and they were already sprouting when I put them out here. The soil they were in was actually relatively shallow, that I didn't probably plant them deep enough. I didn't compost it or amend it. It was planted really in a hurry. I didn't do my due diligence. And so they came up and did fine at first, but since I wasn't able to really tend to them, like I said, the weeds got to them. They went basically super underwater. It gets really hot right here. Like even right now, filming this, my back is like cooking in the sun. I've got a nice shade hat on, but it is really hot right here. And so they were getting some baking sun all day, full sun, with no water. And so what it is you can just look and listen to your plants. If you do that, you can notice the problems before they really occur. If I would have waited probably a few more days, I think they all would have kind of went into dormancy and not been too happy with me. And really, what it is the blooms would kind of stop coming. They'd shrivel up even more. Like I said, you can see the color really isn't as vibrant as they normally would be. Let me go show you their exact same bulbs that came from the same wine barrel, but they're in a different location, getting a slightly different situation. So you can see that the conditions that these plants go through and have to live in has a dramatic effect on their health. And you can tell the other ones look a bit different compared to these ones. Like I said, some of the signs of stress like I said, from the blossoms being weak and pale and kind of shriveling up faster and failing, all the way from the leaves pointing downwards, shriveling, looking emaciated and kind of just unhealthy. Like I said, here's a really good example. This one looks a bit healthier right here. You can see that one right there. That one was getting a bit more water. And so look at that one. See, that one's a little more healthy. Whereas you can see this one's got stunted and then went into pretty much premature blossom, flowered a little sooner than it probably should have. But look at this one. See how its leaves are all pointing kind of droopy, right? So it lost turgidity. It lost the ability to stay rigid with water pressure inside of its leaves. And then from that point, if you don't get to it with water, it'll go from pointing down and being shrivelly to just drying up and looking kind of like how this one looks right here, right, where you get those actually dead leaves and dried up branches. But let me go show you what some more healthy ones would look like. All right, so much better. I'm in the shade now, but you can see these bulbs came from the same original wine barrel, but a few of them went into this wine barrel, and they get a bit deeper soil, a bit richer, than the other ones that I just showed you had, and so they're getting more water, and they get a bit of partial, as you can see, they get partial protection from the sun. Right now they only get it for basically the first half of the day, and then they get shaded the second half, whereas those other lilies were in full-on blazing sun and pretty shallow soil that wasn't quite amended, and they were planted later in the season, so they had a lot going against them, and they weren't getting quite as much water. So here you can see the difference. You notice how robust these ones are. They've already bloomed and gone to seed, but you can see they got, you know, they're really tall. Their leaves are looking pretty happy. I really haven't done a whole lot to really care for them this season. I have fertilized lightly, but they probably would like a little bit more and earlier on, but they've been doing fine. But you can see the health difference, right? So you can see these ones are like 2, 3, almost 4 feet long. No dead leaves really that I can see. They're fully out, and you can see them extending laterally just fine. They're not pointing down droopy. They're not halfway dead. So this is what healthy plants look like. And then sometimes, like the other ones, you can see those are the ones that were telling you, hey, I'm having trouble, I'm having problems. Please give me some water, get these weeds out of here. For us, what I did in that situation, oh, there's my blueberry. For us in this situation, they just needed a little love. And I think I was able to notice them in distress just in time. Like I said, if I would have waited, the longer you wait to deal with the problem, whether it's in the garden or in your life, I feel like the worse things get. So try to, you know, and at least that's been my experience, you know, the things I take head on tend to work out a little better, but don't put things off, because I say that as a master procrastinator. I'm a procrastinator extraordinaire, right? So I'm really good at it. That's why I try to urge others not to be like me. But you can see, see, if you wait, all those dead leaves would have just kept migrating up that plant until the whole thing was dead. So you want to make sure if you see your plants stressing out, it could be water, it could be the weeds, it could be bugs, it could be you have the plant in too much sun and it's not a sun plant. There's a million problems, or not a million, but there's several problems that it could be. But try to get to the bottom of it and get to it before you lose your plants, because I'm really going to enjoy these lilies. Like I said, I got a lot of work to do out here in the garden these next few days and weeks, but I did not want to lose these lilies while I was working on other projects around this garden and all my other gardens. So these ones are really pretty to me. I really have enjoyed them as they get bigger and healthier. I've been able to give them to friends. Actually, my friend has basically little offshoots and offsets of these growing at their house, and I'm really proud when I go over there and get to see them blooming at their house, and it just feels great. So I highly recommend growing them. But like I said, if they're stressing out, you got to get to them and give them some love. Like I said, it doesn't have to just be lilies. If you notice other plants that are showing similar signs of stress, get in there and save them before it's too late. All right, from our garden viewers, happy gardening, best wishes. If you enjoyed this video, which I certainly hope you did, please consider smashing that like and subscribe button, because we'd love to have you back for more garden adventures, and we'd love to share whatever little knowledge that I have with you, and then hopefully maybe you can share a lot of your knowledge with me, because that's what I'm ultimately after. I want to learn, and share. All right, take care now. Bye-bye.